Okay, let's solve some money problems. Here we go. Mrs. Johnson had a balance of $675.27 in her bank account. She write a check. Oops. All right, let's try some money problems. Mrs. Johnson had a balance of $675.27 in her bank account. She wrote a check for $145.12 and paid a bill for $13.56. Then she got a birthday gift from her mom for $120. How much money does Mrs. Johnson have now? So let's see. What numbers are we dealing with here? We've got, I'm going to change colors here actually. We've got $675.27, right? That's my total. That's what Mrs. Johnson's starting with, right? That's her balance in her bank account. And then she wrote a check for $145.12. She paid a bill for $13.56. And then she got $120 from her mom. So what we really need to do here is we need to think about which of these numbers are we adding to the balance and which of these are we subtracting. Okay, so I'm going to go through with a red marker and we're just going to write add or subtract. So the balance, that's what she's starting with. She's not adding or subtracting anything there. Now she wrote a check for $145.12. Well, if she wrote a check, that means she's paying someone, right? A check is what you write when you pay someone. So we're going to subtract that from her account. She also paid a bill for $13.56. So again, she's going to subtract that from her account as well because she's paying a bill from that account. But then she got a birthday gift from her mom for $120. So in this case, she got $120. So we're actually going to add that to our balance. Okay, so we've got our balance. We're going to subtract some things. We're going to add some things. So let's do it. Now remember, we've got to line up the decimal points. That's the main thing. So we're going to start with our $675.27. And let's subtract these two first. So first, let's subtract $145.12. And notice how my decimal points are lined up. So let's subtract. 7 minus 2 is 5. 2 minus 1 is 1. Pop down that decimal point. 5 minus 5 is 0. 7 minus 4 is 3. 6 minus 1 is 5. Okay. So after she wrote that check for $145.12, she's got $530.15 left. But she also, remember, paid a bill for $13.56. So now I'm going to subtract the $13.56. All right, let's subtract that out. 5 minus 6 I can't do, right? I've got to borrow. Oop, can't do that. Can't do that. I'm going to have to borrow all the way from here. So that becomes a 2. That becomes a 10, which I can borrow from, so it becomes a 9. This becomes an 11, right? But then I'm going to borrow, and that's going to become 10. And then here I've got 15, right? Okay. So now I can subtract. 15 minus 6 is, let's see, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 9. 10 minus 5 is 5. Decimal point. 9 minus 3 is 6. 2 minus 1 is 1. And then 5 minus nothing is 5. Okay. So after she paid all her bills, she's still got $516.59 left. And then she got that $120 from her mom. So we're going to add that back in, right? So now we've got 516. I'm going to start it up here because I'm starting to run out of space. 516.59 plus this time, right? It's really important that we get our operations correct. Plus $120. And I need some place fillers here. Does she have any change? No, she's got 0 cents, right? Okay, so let's add this up. 9 plus 0 is 9. 5 plus 0 is 5. Pop down the decimal point. 6 plus 0 is 6. 1 plus 2 is 3. 5 plus 1 is 6. So, ooh, that's an interesting 6. So after all those checks and bills she paid, and after the gift she got from her mom, she's got $636.59 left. Okay, let's try another one. All right. Let's see. I'm going to go with green again because now I'm going to underline my numbers, right? And then we'll go through and we'll think, are my adding or subtracting? Last week, I went to town with $200 to get some stuff for my dog Patch. So I had $200, right? I spent $23.56 on a new collar, $12.98 on some treats, and $40 at the do-it-yourself doggy grooming center. I will spend the rest, that's an important word, I'll spend the rest on a fancy lunch for me and my wife. How much money do I have left for the fancy lunch? It's a slightly different problem, but I'm still dealing with money. Now, this is my balance, right? This is what I'm starting with, the $200. And then what am I doing? I spent, so I'm going to subtract $23, and I spent $12.98 on some treats. I also spent $40 at the do-it-yourself doggy grooming center. So I'm just subtracting all this, and then I want to know how much do I have left, right? How much do I have left after I spent all that money? So I could subtract, but another way I could do this is what if I just added up all the things I spent money on, right? If I added $40 doggy grooming center and the collar and the treats, if I add that all together and then I subtract it from the $200, that might be a little simpler. So I'm going to do that. All right. So let's see. And I can actually just do this all in once. $23.56 plus $12.98 plus $40.00, right? So this is all the money I spent. So if I add it all up, I'll know how much I spent all together. So let's see. What's 8 plus 6? 14, right? Oops. I don't know what that happened. 14. So 8 plus 6 is 14. Carry the 1. 9 plus 5 is also 14. Plus 1 is 15. Carry the 1 again. I'm going to bring down that decimal point, right? Notice how my decimal points are all lined up. 3 plus 2 is 5. Plus 1 is 6. 4, 5, 6, 7. So altogether, I spent $76.54. And now I want to know how much I have left. So now what I need to do is I need to take my $200 that I started with, right? And I'm going to subtract all the money I spent. So I'm going to subtract $76 and 54 cents, and that'll tell me how much I've left over. Now, do you notice how I had $200 here, but I still lined up the tens, I lined up the ones. I can add a decimal point here and some zeros as placeholders. And so notice how my tenths are lined up, my hundredths are lined up, my decimal point is lined up. Because there's my decimal point. So let's subtract. Can't do any of these. They're all zeros, right? So I'm going to have to borrow from here. So that becomes a 10. I'm going to borrow, so it becomes a 9. That's also going to become a 9 because it would be a 10 I borrowed, right? In other words, like I'm turning that into a 10, right? But then I'm borrowing 1, so it becomes a 9, and then finally I've got a 10 there. 10 minus 4 is 6. 9 minus 5 is 4. 9 minus 6 is 3. 9 minus 7 is 2. 1 minus nothing is 1. That's a 2. Okay, so how much do I have left for this fancy lunch with my wife? I have $123.46 for this fancy lunch, and that is quite a fancy lunch. I hope we don't spend it all. All right, go ahead and try the problem of the day on your own in the stream, and I'll see you during your teacher center.